Time is running out.
Every game from here on out is a playoff game, and we got to treat it as such.
We're trying to make sure that we're heading into the postseason with momentum. Peaking at the right time is most important.
Time is running out.
Still got a chance to be the 1 seed.
The job's not finished.
Time is running out. Gonna make it through. Gonna make it through.
First Take is presented by DraftKings.
Good day. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into First Take. Thank you for being with us.
That boy got that sweater on.
You see the cardigan?
He does.
See
It
the
is
cardigan?
It's festive. I like it. I feel like you should be by the fire. I like the sweater. Marcus Spears,
Molly,
Dan
you looking
Orlovsky,
dope.
my
Green.
guys. Thank you. Well, I'm trying to be in the holiday spirit. I'm trying, guys, but I'm starting
Molly,
to
you in
run
there.
out of red
You
and
in there.
green.
Molly,
What's up?
the thing is, you and I wore the colors for Christmas,
Yeah.
obviously, to the people. You've got the beautiful green. I got the.
Thank you.
Marcus, can you stand up real quickly? For some reason, you wore the Christmas colors on the lower half.
Let me see.
You got the
Oh, you
red
wanna
on the
see
lower
my-
half?
yeah.
You got the red.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got red
Okay.
shorts
Yeah.
on? I
I'm
need
at
a
home.
red top. I need a red
He's,
top.
he's ready
no,
to get in
no,
the gym.
no.
He's ready to put in work.
Everything's good. Purple is a sign of prosperity, Dio. I'm prosperous this holiday season, man.
You're dating yourself. You're dating
That's
yourself.
fair. Actually, yes. Purple is a sign of royalty. By the way, hi everybody. Besides Dan and Marcus, Vince Carter is going to be here to talk some hoops because obviously we have a huge NBA slate on Christmas Day, and Paul Feinbaum's going to be here to talk a little college football. So that'll be fun, fellas. Let's do
P-Town.
this. It's the rematch. The Patriots went into Bills Mafia territory and took the win, 14-10. Now will Josh Allen and Buffalo get revenge on Bill Belichick's turf in Foxborough? In the last matchup, I'm not stuttering here, Mac Jones was 2 for 3. Josh Allen was 15 for 30. No TDs for either quarterback. So Josh Allen led the Bills to a 4-2 start through the season's first 6 weeks, while Mac Jones, the new signal caller in Foxborough, had the Patriots at 2-4. Since then, Buffalo has failed to win consecutive games, while the Patriots have won 7 of their last 8. Here's Mac on that rematch.
I think you just have to keep moving forward and understand what we're about to face in a really good football team. It comes down to controlling what you can control, and that's your attitude and your effort. And we're trying to do that every day. And then eventually we'll stack days together and we'll get a chance to play, like I said, against a really good team and who have a lot of talented players, but they're also really well coached.
We can only control what we can control. How quickly did he pick up on the coaches speak, right? That's how
Molly,
you know
I was
Bill
just saying here,
Belichick's his coach.
hopefully they can get his emotions under control and not be so energetic.
Yes.
Unreal. Every cliche in the book, right? Perfect disciple there for him. I'm going to start with you, Swagoo. I can't wait for this game. Who has more to prove? Is it Mac Jones or Josh Allen?
It's Josh Allen for me, Molly, and it's because we had the Buffalo Bills as a Super Bowl contender, like legitimately. And Josh Allen has been playing well. That has nothing to do with it. But these defining type games, these defining moments, are you set up for your franchise? Are you good enough to maybe make up for some of the deficiencies that you may lack when you play against the New England Patriots? Let's not forget, Tom Brady owned this division forever. And the Buffalo Bills last year were able to take a step forward. And now we see them in the past meeting get the ball ran down their throats. I understand what weather was, and that was a factor. But Josh Allen has to ascend to being a quarterback to say, I'm about to stop this nonsense. I'm about to stop the New England Patriots from dominating this division. We were 1 year as a good football team when the New England Patriots were hampered. They didn't have anybody. It was a terrible roster. Things didn't go right. COVID, guys were out for COVID, especially Hightower, who's back on that defense and has made a difference. So for me, Josh Allen, right? It's a Buffalo Bills thing. It's a Sean McDermott thing. But ultimately, in the history of this division, in the Josh Allen, Mac Jones era, we better not walk away saying Mac Jones came in as a rookie and dominated the AFC East and continued the trend in which the New England Patriots have been on for so long. Josh Allen, for me, has to be the guy to change that narrative.
Yeah, I think it's Mac Jones. I think because Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills started here, and have slowly started to decline somewhat this season in our expectation levels, where the Patriots and Mac Jones started here, and they've done nothing but progress. And the reality is, I love Mac, and I love New England. Mac hasn't played a good game in about 3 weeks. The last time we saw these two teams play, he threw the ball like 3 times, right? And that was the right decision, but that's the reality. And then last week was the first rookie performance by him, so to speak, against the Colts. And yes, he got better as that game went on. Certainly second half, I think it was because of the style of defense that Indy decided to play, given what the game circumstances were. But there's some pressure. There's a lot of pressure on Mac Jones to go, because if we look at Marcus, let me ask you this question. And I don't know what your answer is, but I'm anticipating this. Which one of these two teams, as we sit here today, would you bank on to be a more legit Super Bowl contender?
The Patriots.
Which one of these quarterbacks is more of the question mark for their football team?
It's Mac for sure.
Right. So that's why I'm saying, like, we know the Buffalo Bills are a good football team. Now they've dealt with some injuries, and there's been some disappointment on their defense, specifically the run defense. But we know Josh Allen's great, and I expect Josh Allen to play really well in this football game.
But we're not judging his greatness, though. We're not judging his greatness. When I hear this question about more to prove, what I think is, are you the guy to change the narrative about the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots? That's what I'm thinking. We came into this conversation knowing Josh Allen was a better quarterback, more dynamic, the physical ability. We've seen him play at an MVP level. But ultimately, based on you, I've been around you. Remember now, I've been around you now for 3 years. What is the narrative behind Josh Allen and his career in Buffalo if they never get past the New England Patriots? It was a failure.
Right.
And this is the beginning of it. This is the beginning of it. He's got more to prove, not as an individual player. He's got more to prove to tell Buffalo, Bills Mafia, your people, the Bills Mafia, I shout out, I love y'all, that we are here now. And we are not going to allow the New England Patriots to run this division for the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah, but here's my thing. Like, if the Patriots go out and run for 250 yards again and Josh Allen throws for 300 yards, Josh Allen plays well, and it's just the same storyline from 3 weeks ago. But I don't anticipate the Patriots pounding the rock. At least I hope the Bills, you said it yesterday, man, up on NFL Live, like, those boys go play well on run defense. You see me how I censored that? And I just think, like, because of the style that we've seen Mac play and the expectations that have slowly risen with New England, because we talk about the AFC right now, and we go, we all think it's probably the Chiefs, which is what we thought in August. All right, who can actually be the best team to beat the Chiefs? And I think it's the Patriots and the Colts. And the question mark around the Patriots, great coaching, phenomenal offensive line, dominant run game, okay skill position players, top 5 defense. How well is Mac Jones going to play in those games?
Hold on, Dan, because I feel like wait 1 second, Marcus. I feel like you flipped on Mac. Because you were the one talking about Mac and the Patriots before everybody else.
Yes.
And then obviously that Bills game, that was the game plan where he threw 2 for 3. And then you were right, I was wrong. I thought they were going to beat the Colts. And then obviously he had that rookie game. But why are you so down on Mac now, yet you were so confident earlier on?
No, I'm not down on him at all. But I think there's a reality that we are now into December, right? The expectations are higher and the pressure is higher. And I love Mac, and I believe in him. But to go, who has more to prove? Because the last time they beat this team that won the division last year, it was because of everybody but Mac. Again, we know why. And then last week against a really good AFC team, he had his rookie moment, and which I had expected to come. So I want to see, can he rebound? Again, he has not played a good game since November 28th. That's just the reality of it. I'm not down on Mac at all. I just think there's a lot of pressure because we expect a lot out of him in New England
That's fair, because obviously now they have a shot to go to the Super Bowl, right? But Marcus, who's winning this game? Who has the edge?
I'm going to take Buffalo. And the reason why is because I think psychologically how they were embarrassed in that last meeting, I think they're gonna fight, and I believe Josh Allen is gonna play really, really well. And when you look at division games, they hard. Like I think we need to emphasize that
That's
a lot.
true.
We saw the Philadelphia Eagles with a depleted Washington football team, but it still was a grind to get that win. We saw Seattle and the Los Angeles Rams. It's a grind. Dan knows this. I know this playing in the NFC East. We can say NFC Least last year with the Cowboys. Some of those games were difficult, even for those teams to beat the Cowboys, how depleted they were. But the bottom line is this. When we get to a point where we start talking about football at this time of the year, and we have playoff connotations and context, I'm going to give credence to the fact that Josh Allen is the quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. And Dan knows this as well as anybody. I'm so slow to deem quarterbacks being good in this league. It takes a while for me to come around on guys and think about and see if they really are guys that can, years, that can lift the franchise. If not now for Josh Allen, when? Right? We think, potentially we think New England is a better team, right? All holistically in the entire roster. When does your quarterback lift you? That is the conversation we're having about Josh Allen. Dan, you and I say this all the time when we having the conversation. What quarterbacks in the NFL have the ability to overcome when they lack against the team? It's got to be Josh Allen. It's got to be this game. It's got to be for the division and bring your team to where y'all should be.
Yeah, I would agree with a lot of what you said. I think New England wins the football game. I think them playing at home, the style of football that they can play, I think they're the better football team. I don't know where Buffalo has an advantage. Candidly, offensive line is better for New England.
QB.
Backs are better. Quarterback is the only spot. And I'd say skill position guys, right? Skill position guys for Buffalo and quarterback. I think that New England can control the line of scrimmage in a more dominant fashion. I'd say this game comes down to the red zone. You know, Josh Allen has played 6 games against the New England Patriots. In his 2 wins, he's 4 for 6 in the red zone scoring opportunities. In the 4 losses, he's 3 for 10. So just as far as scoring touchdowns versus times you get down there. And that's the Patriots' strength. And right now, and I'd also say this, like Cole Beasley not playing this game is a big deal. Because I think in the red zone, like that is somebody that could have some success against New England. I think New England wins this football game. I just don't I still believe that New England unapologetically is one of those teams that knows who they are. They know how they're going to go about beating the Buffalo Bills, where I think Buffalo still, and it shocks me offensively, is still trying to figure itself out a little bit in games.
That's fair. New England's favored by 2.5. Let's keep it rolling. I want to get to as much football as I can while I have you both. Guys, let's get to the team that just beat the Pats and are riding high. Jonathan Taylor in the 8-6 Colts host the 10-4 Cardinals, who are looking to get back on track after a surprising loss to Detroit. Now looking the same without DeAndre Hopkins. Frank Reich said Carson Wentz is going to have to win some games for this team. Dan Orlovsky. Carson, how you feeling?
I think just coaches and everybody's done a great job of just kind of building a game plan around what we do well. I think, and just for me, that's allowed me to, obviously we're handing the ball off to JT a lot some games. Some games they're stopping the run, so we got to mix it up with play action pass. And I think it's just really put us all in the right position to do what we do best. And coach has done a great job of that. So I think that's part of the reason why offensively we've been able to have some success.
Safety first, Carson Wentz. I like it. Okay, I have to come to Marcus because your eyes. Marcus, what? Will Wentz be a liability down the stretch? What are you thinking right now?
Yes, until he proves otherwise. Listen, I'm not going to take this hour to kill
Dan's
Carson
so
Wentz.
mad.
He's been better, and he's been better, but he's also not been asked to do the things that we saw in Philly. Great, you are set up in a great situation. Y'all, I watched last week. Carson Wentz almost threw 4 interceptions against the New England Patriots. 4 against that team when they were in moments where he needed to just get a first down or throw the ball out of bounds. Here's my issue with Carson Wentz. The pressing and the feeling like you need to be Superman don't work out for you, bro. Your numbers are bad. Yeah, we remember the great plays you make and the scrambles and all of that. But your numbers overall are bad when you have to become the focal. People get nervous. Why in the hell do you think Frank Reich would come out and say, Carson Wentz gonna have to win some games for us? To let Carson Wentz know that. Value the football. That's my issue with Carson Wentz and hero ball. Now go on, take up for your brother or your family member. It's like y'all on damn Yellowstone in the same house and y'all gotta defend each other. Go ahead.
Right now, when you do this, you look like Forrest Whitaker from Jingle Jangle. You know, like with you got the fancy shirt on or whatnot. Listen.
Great movie. Great movie, by the way.
Great movie.
Great movie.
Here's my thing. Like, you're wrong. Okay, yes, Carson Wentz is going to have to win some football games for them to get into the playoffs, win this weekend, get into the playoffs, and win games in the playoffs. He is going to have to, the passing game is going to have to play at a really high level. I hear you say, like, oh, he could have thrown 4 interceptions. You obviously didn't watch your guy play against New York last week. Number 2, Carson Wentz.
No.
This
is how you get emotional. We're talking about Carson Wentz. That don't have nothing to do with that. And I have actually acknowledged that Dak has played bad.
You done?
What you won't do for Carson Wentz?
Because he hasn't. He hasn't played bad. Marcus, since week 4, he's the 3rd best quarterback in the NFL with QBR. Since week 4, that's behind Tom Brady and Justin Herbert. He's thrown 6 interceptions this year. There's only 2 quarterbacks who have thrown less, Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. And one of his picks is on a Hail Mary, okay? So you could sit here and portray an image or create this narrative about Wentz all you want. He's top 12 in attempts. He's top 12 in touchdowns. He's 3rd least when it comes to interceptions thrown. I mean, what else do we want out of a performance? What I don't understand is why in 2021 we still hold it against quarterbacks when they play for an offense with a good running game. We go, well, this guy's playing really good. But he's got a good running game.
It got nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that.
So what about
when the question is posed, will Wentz be a liability? I have evidence that Carson Wentz is dangerous. Last week, Dan.
Last week?
You watch film. You watch more film than anybody in football.
Pause.
You telling me that Carson...
So your evidence is a singular week where he threw the ball 12 times?
They lost to Tennessee. He threw 2 picks.
He also threw for like 350 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Dan, please stop throwing them numbers out there. We just had who? So let me ask you a question.
I'm not
kidding. Are you taking Mac Jones or Carson? If you drafting, you taking Carson Wentz or Mac Jones?
Just as the player?
Yeah.
Carson Wentz.
Okay. The QBR right now since week 7 would tell you to take Mac Jones. Can you please stop telling me about what Carson Wentz is doing? You know damn well Carson Wentz is a liability if he got to carry the Colts. You know that.
Marcus.
But your emotions won't allow you to admit it.
Marcus.
Nobody in hell is confident that Carson Wentz is going to carry the Colts to the Super Bowl. Nobody. Even the Colts not.
3 things. 1, Chris Ballard and Frank Reich were obviously confident when they decided to trade for him and give away those picks. Number 2, you're saying, well, Carson Wentz can't carry the football team. There's like 4 dudes that play in the NFL that can carry their football team, and he's not going to have to. That's the whole point. He's got a very good run game, a very good run-blocking offensive line, and a really good defense. Is he going to have to make crucial plays in crucial moments? Yes, I'm giving you that. But to sit there and say, well, Carson Wentz is going to have to play a game, like who in the AFC do we think, now they got to get into the playoffs. Who in the AFC do we believe is going to, I don't want to say stop, but minimize this run game? Who?
I think Kansas City can put pressure on them by scoring points, where Carson Wentz is going to have to answer. And yeah, I watch.
You watch the Colts.
We talking about the playoffs. We talking about the. I know the Colts defense is good. I know it. I know they good. But they also, in the last game they played, when Carson Wentz threw 12 passes and 3 of them were deflected and probably should have been picked off.
They were up 14-0.
And you sitting there telling me that he ain't a liability.
I don't think he's a liability. No, I don't. I have given you.
Okay.
I
All
have
right.
given
well,
you.
you know we disagree.
Yeah, of course we do.
I cannot sit on television and tell you I'm fully confident that if something happens to this run game or they stifled and you got to turn to Carson Wentz, that he going to lead you down the path in the playoffs. I ain't going to say that on First Take because I'll be a liar to myself.
All right, so I'm not sitting here telling you.
If they play within the confines, I agree with you.
Well, but that's the point.
If they running the ball well.
But that's the point.
But that's not always the case.
Okay.
Look, bro, we saw Derrick Henry and we saw Derrick Henry and the Tennessee Titans go take a 20-plus point lead against the Kansas City Chiefs. That's a vaunted run game, right? Have been for a long time. Patrick Mahomes brought that team back in that game. It was at some points that Ryan Tannehill was going to have to answer the bell. That happens in the playoffs, and you know that.
But Marcus, what you're saying is answering the bell versus a liability. Those are two different conversations. I'm not sitting here and telling you I'm going to take all the cash in my wallet, which is $0. I'm going to take all the cash in my wallet and be like, I got my kid. All the cash in my wallet and be like, yes, I am unquestionably confident that Carson Wentz, if Jonathan Taylor runs for 10 yards, is going to throw for 500. I'm not sitting here lying about that either. But you're calling him a liability because of 1 week, last week.
Dio, no, bro, no. Listen, I got you. I got you. And for the sake of us having to move on to different topics, the bottom line is this. The reason why I say I feel like Carson Wentz is a liability, because in those moments, I'm not confident that Carson Wentz can do it every time without making a grave mistake. That's where I am. You could be different. Other people may be different. I'm not saying Carson Wentz is not a formidable quarterback. I'm not saying that he can't even play elite at times. But if you telling me that the Colts are going to get in a playoff game where Carson Wentz going to have to drop back potentially and throw the ball 30-plus times, I ain't confident in that. Right. And that's where I am right now until proven otherwise. I'm not. So I feel like that's a liability for the Colts if they find themselves in that situation in a playoff run.
All right. The Colts lead the way, fellas, with 7 Pro Bowl selections.
Thank you, Polly.
Yes. Can we all just get along?
Thank you for giving us some time to work that out.
Can we all just get along? Tis the season. The spread, peace,
hey, man, smile.
enjoy.
It's Christmas.
Exactly. All right, let's keep it rolling, fellas. More to get to.
We're going to debate, but I love you.
I appreciate that. It's all respect. This one has major playoff implications, fellas. Yes, he said it very quietly. As the Bengals currently hold the division lead while the Ravens are on the outside looking in. According to our analytics, a Bengals win gives them a 64% chance to win the AFC North, while a Ravens win boosts their chances at the division crown to 66%. Dan, which team wins the AFC North?
Yeah, I think it's the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they're a really, really good football team, and they've proven that they can beat anybody in the by a field goal. So four of their losses have come by a field goal. And I know that's very much so like who the NFL is, one possession games. But this team could very easily be a 10-4 football team if not for 2 or 3 different plays. So, 1, I think they're a really good football team. 2, I think they got one of the best young quarterbacks, not only in the past, but right now into the future, in Joe Burrow. Their 3 receivers are absolutely spectacular. We always talk about Jamar Chase, and rightfully so. I think T. Higgins is awesome. I think Tyler Boyd is an absolute dude. Their run game, Joe Mixon, is a phenomenal player. So, the only pause or hesitation that I have about the Bengals is I don't trust that they can protect Joe Burrow just if they get into a game where they have to become an obvious passing situation, that they can keep him clean enough to go operate. And that's why I think that the Bengals win this game, and I think they win the North. This is an offense that leads the NFL in their ability to score from 10 yards out. They got 23 touchdowns scoring from 10 yards or out. That leads the NFL. And they got 18 touchdowns scoring from 20 yards or out. So, this is an offense that can kind of score from anywhere they are on the field. And I just think because of all the injuries that we've talked about essentially since August, I believe that the Bengals are a better football team and they're healthy.
Dio, this one was hard for me, man, because I just said that the Cincinnati Bengals would be the team. And then I watched the Ravens against the Packers, and I thought to myself, there is something to be said for how that organization is run. It's similar to what we see in Pittsburgh. Ain't no way in hell Pittsburgh should even be in the conversation for potentially making the playoffs, other than they have a great culture. And at some point, like at this crunch time in the season, I'm going to go with Baltimore. And the reason I'm going to go with the Ravens, one, the experience, but two, this team was absolutely embarrassed the last time they played the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
And I know Lamar is potentially hampered from an injury standpoint, with the ankle. I know all of the things that have went on in Baltimore. And it's funny, dude, because we talked about the attrition and the injuries. And Baltimore sitting here at 8-6.
Yeah.
And I know that ain't the greatest record, and we could pick, we could pick apart things that they don't do well, and we could pick apart the things that they are very flawed in. But somehow, some way, even in losses, majority of the time, this team finds themselves with opportunities to win football games. And I think more than just looking at the tape and thinking about it from a football context, I got to give some credence and some validity to what Harbaugh has done. I got to give the Ravens credit for how they've sustained during this season and even been able to win some games where you're like, how in the hell did they just do that? Yeah. 4 turnovers in one game and they still get a win. You got Lamar that wasn't playing elite from the pocket and he was having struggles and they still winning football games. You got a defensive secondary against the Green Bay Packers, and I know they gave up points, but they still were in that game with an opportunity to win against the Packers, who we think is the best team in the NFL right now. So I'm going to go with the Ravens more based on what we've seen over time, how we know that foundation is to be built. And more importantly, I think for me, it's going to where they've been. They've been here before. And the one thing Cincinnati has done to me this year, who I think is a really good team, they have kind of shrunk in some inopportune moments.
They played down.
Like, go out and have a dominant performance against the New York Jets. Don't lose to them. Or even if you play them and they play you tight, win the football game, right? And you talk about the opportunities late in games. I just can't. Cincinnati, good young team. I think experience right now, gravity of the moment is leaning me more towards Baltimore because they've been in these situations more.
See, but that's why I look at this game and situation the same way that you look at New England and Buffalo. You know, my philosophy is Cincinnati, if not now, when? You know, like this is a team that is super young and wildly talented. They're playing good football. Baltimore is absolutely decimated by injuries. If you're not going to win this game, Cincinnati, then this brings into the question the future for me with everybody, you know. And as much as I love Zach Taylor and their head coach and their offensive coordinator, Brian Callahan, this is your moment. This is, if you go back in time, like this is the moment where you said, if you told Cincinnati, hey, you are going to lose your superstar quarterback the middle of his rookie year to a devastating knee injury, but we are going to give you December, Christmas weekend, and you are going to play the team that, or one of the two teams, with Pittsburgh, obviously, that has owned this division for the better part of a decade. Like, this is your moment, Cincinnati. And for me, for a guy that, like, absolutely puts Joe Burrow on a pedestal, and I know you do because you're an LSU guy, but, like, believes he is one of the very 5 or 6 best guys at that position in the league, it's now, bud. Like, it is, you got a remarkable receiving core, and you got a secondary that's beat up. This is a game that Joe Burrow should throw for over 300 yards. And this is where, like, I see the balance of power somewhat shift, so to speak. From Cleveland, nope, you didn't get it done. Pittsburgh, Big Ben's going to ride off into the sunset. Baltimore, we are now the team that is going to be playing against you for the next 10 years for these division titles. And I think that because of the guy that Joe Burrow is, I'm banking on Cincinnati to win this game and then win this division.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I can't get away from it, bro. I just, like, the trust.
Let me ask you this real quick, because I know we got to go. So are you thinking that this weekend it's without Lamar they win, or you're banking on Lamar playing?
Dio, that's the problem I had with picking Cincy. Because I think if Huntley in there, they still got a chance. Just the way that they're built, man, the way that they play. And yes, Cincinnati should win this division. You and I were on TV a week ago, and I told you Cincinnati would win the division. But the more and more I look at Baltimore, that performance against Green Bay showed me that pedigree, foundation, what you are as a organization and a franchise means a lot on Sunday. And it translates. And maybe I haven't put enough stock into that when it comes to Baltimore. You know, we've talked about the Ravens. Yeah, they got a lot of injuries, and these things have transpired and all of that. And they still sitting here with an opportunity to win a division. And no other team in the league has been through what they've been through from an injury standpoint. And I can't discredit that. Cincinnati should win the game. You're not wrong.
Correct.
They should win the game. They should have a tremendous amount of success. I said the same thing last week, and it took a 2-point conversion defensively for Green Bay to win the game.
Yeah, NFL football is better when Action Jackson is out there. I hope we get to see Lamar, fellas. When we come back here, here's a fun one that we never thought we'd be asking a month ago. Which offense do you trust more, Dallas or the Niners? Buckle up for that. Plus, we've talked Matthew Stafford. Dan, your boy,
Nina.
a lot on this show. Lo and behold, he seems to be one of the more notable. Marcus, I believe in the San Francisco 49ers more so than you do in the Dallas Cowboys.
Offensively, yes. I think that offensively, to your point, I believe that they have an identity. I believe that they get 2 guys on their football team that I will take over anybody offensively on the Dallas Cowboys, Deebo Samuel and George Kittle. I just trust Kyle Shanahan and the creativity and the performance of those offensive weapons more reliably than I do the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, that was a great jacket. That was a good part of that take.
Thank
hey,
you.
Marcus.
Whoa.
I was just saying it was a great jacket. That's all I was saying. Like, don't take things personally. You've read the 4 agreements before. Hey, Marcus, so Dan likes the San Francisco 49ers over your Cowboys. The floor is yours.
He knows it.
Oh, God.
I have to project here. Because right now, the San Francisco 49ers do look better. So I have to project. And this is why I disagree. Because I don't think that the Dallas Cowboys offense will continue to look like they've looked. I think this rut may be coming to an end this Sunday, to be honest with you all. And when I look at the San Francisco 49ers, and I think about look, Kittle and Deebo Samuel and Trent Williams, those guys are elite. Like that they are better than most threes on any other team in the NFL. So that don't do anything for me. It all points back to that guy that's pulling the trigger. And I'm taking Dak Prescott 6 days a week and twice on Sunday before I take Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't care that Jimmy Garoppolo got a nice little streak going. I don't care that all of that stuff. Kyle Shanahan been a better play caller than most offensive coordinators in the NFL for a long time. The Dallas Cowboys offense is about to hit their stride. Put it down, First Take Market today, December 23rd. The Dallas Cowboys offense is about to get back to looking like they looked the first 7 weeks of the season. And I'm taking that offense every day before I take the San Francisco 49ers because of the weapons on the outside. The CeeDee Lambs, the Amari Coopers, the Michael Gallup, the Zeke Elliott, the Tony Pollard, and more importantly, number 4, Dak Prescott, Dakota Rain, and Tyron Smith coming back off of injury. The Dallas Cowboys offense will be better going forward than the San Francisco 49ers.
Nah.
Bank it.
Nah.
Put it down. I'll put the house on it.
How about we put $10 on it instead of your home? Because I can't afford your home.
Right now.
All right, $10.
Last year we did 100 on Baker. Let's do 100 right now.
Bet that the 49ers offense will perform better from this weekend's game moving forward, whether it's into the playoffs or not. Bet, $100 bet that the 49ers, and we're talking about points scored, okay, just by your offense. Because you ain't getting the points scored by the Cowboys defense, okay? I'm not going to argue that I'll give you Dak over Jimmy Garoppolo. You know where I stand on Jimmy Garoppolo, okay? Like, I think Jimmy Garoppolo is good. He makes way too many or situationally too many boneheaded plays where I'm like, why would you make that throw? But he is hot, to your point, but I'll give you Dak. I don't understand how you sit here and go, well, Well, I think that they're going to hit their stride. Like, what makes you think they're going to hit their stride? What's going to all of a sudden they're going to turn back the hands of time and Zeke's knee is going to get better, or they're going to start pulling people in the run game? Like, what makes you think that?
The truth is, we have a lot of evidence on missed opportunities. All right, we focus a lot on what the Dallas Cowboys have done in the last 5 or 6 games or whatever.
They got 15 touchdowns in their last 85 drives.
Okay. Why do you think I'm saying going forward that this offense, this the one I'm taking before I take San Francisco? This is my thing when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. The first 7 weeks of the season, the Dallas Cowboys offense hit heights that San Francisco ain't hit none this year. They haven't, there were performances by this offense from the Dallas Cowboys that we have not seen the San Francisco, even in this run that the 49ers are having, that we haven't seen them play as high of a level as that offense. And I get it. Dallas has not looked great. They have a 30-point performance squeezed in there against the Las Vegas Raiders when Dak actually played well and took his team down the field, which should have been a win. But Anthony Brown wanted to have pass interference all day long in that game against the Raiders, and it was fine. No shade to Anthony Brown, but that was the narrative of that night. Okay, so I believe this. I look at the New York Giants last week. CeeDee Lamb had 3 drops. How different would Dak numbers look if CeeDee Lamb catches the ball on those three drops? We talk about Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator, and his ability to be creative. Maybe he forgot, Dan, but I refuse to believe that he can go back and look at previously how he called games and how they had success and not tap back into some of that. And I get it. Look, accuse me. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan.
No doubt.
But the bottom line is if this offense is going to stay the way that we've seen them the last 3 or 4 weeks, we can stop talking about them being anything in the NFC or anything in the playoffs. I don't believe that narrative is going to continue, and I think it stops this week. I think we see an explosive performance from the Dallas Cowboys.
See, this is where I push back when you make the comment that the Cowboys offense has reached heights that the 49ers can't. The Cowboys do not have a human being on their offense that is going to lead the NFL.
I didn't say can't. I said we've seen the Cowboys offense hit heights that San Fran has not. Even in their good performances, I don't think they've had as impressive offensive outputs as Dallas had when we start looking at the first 7 weeks of that season. Go ahead.
The 49ers, Deebo Samuel leads the NFL in yards per carry and yards per catch. The Cowboys do not have that guy. Jimmy Garoppolo, for everything I again, have reservations about, leads the NFL in yards per attempt and yards per completion. Those are 2 things that Dallas, with their tailback or wide receiver or quarterback, does not have. George Kittle, since he's come back and been healthy, is 3rd in the NFL in receiving. I'm not talking about tight ends. I'm talking about receiving. So, those guys are doing things that Dallas, I would say, can't.
Dio, let's be honest, though. Let's be honest. Outside of George Kittle and Deebo Samuel, if I said, Dan Orlovsky, you're an offensive coordinator, I'm going to give you Dallas offense, and I'm going to give you San Fran. Which one are you taking?
I'm the offensive coordinator, or can I bring Kyle Shanahan with me?
You are the OC, and you got to pick between both of these offenses.
Gosh, this is a good question. I think just on paper talent, if Tyron Smith is healthy, I will take Dallas, yes.
All right, Molly, what's the next topic?
Wait, I didn't hear it. I have producer in my ear. What'd you say?
He said, what's the next topic? Because he think he got me, but he didn't.
Listen.
Listen, I think highly of myself, but not highly enough to say
that was a good one. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
Yo, you know what I hate and love at the same time is that laugh of yours. I hate that laugh, but I love your laugh.
I know. It's my
when I'm right laugh.
And when I'm wrong,
because his laugh is like a giant middle finger. Like that's the imagery that I get.
I heard that. Even when you're wrong, you're right.
Diabolical, man.
All right, we'll leave it there, guys. When we come back, coming up, Aaron Rodgers tying a Brett Favre record. Wait until you hear what Favre said about his one-time protege. We'll play that for you. in a moment. In the MVP debate, still ahead, a couple of QBs we expected to be in the conversation, plus a couple skill. Check out this crossover by Jordan Noir, leaving Armani Brooks on the floor. Marcus, how's Brooks feeling right now?
Buddy, I know we in the winter, but you ain't on the ice rink, homie. This is just embarrassment. And you gotta hit the shot once you get somebody to just slide out the screen. That step back between the legs.
Killer. And then Texas basketball, Dylan Disu over two defenders. How about them apples?
Say, man. Listen, if you can't jump, stay from under there. I played basketball, Molly. You know I like to say it every time. If you can't go up, if you can't be a rim protector, shout out to my man, Jimmy V. You cannot try to block this dunk. Now you embarrassed, your family embarrassed, your boys texting you all on social media. You are posterized. You are forever immortal if you these two dudes.
Absolutely. All right, we'll keep it going here, guys. The NFL announced. Have you guys played?
Nah, Marcus.
No, he wouldn't dunk it. No.
I put Marcus. I would put Marcus in the hospital if I play with them. I'd be like Luka.
It's too physical.
He would look like Big Oliver Miller.
It's too physical.
Okay, guys, you can see the Pro Bowl quarterbacks right there. We got them up on the screen, and that's where I want to go right now, Dan. Who's the biggest Pro Bowl snub?
All right, I'm not going to get too emotional about this one, but Matthew Stafford not being in the Pro Bowl and Kyler Murray making it is stupid. Matthew Stafford's second in the NFL in touchdowns with 35 behind Tom Brady. Kyler's like 17th in touchdowns. Matthew's throwing for 300 yards a game. Kyler's throwing for 275. Matthew's, the numbers are just so much better. And I can't understand for the life of me, how Stafford's not in the Pro Bowl. I think there's multiple snubs. But we're talking about a guy that right now is top 5 in basically everything at that position. Top 5 in touchdown, top 5 in yards, top 5 in yards per attempt. He's 10-4. He's got the number 2 seed in the NFC. I don't understand how Kyler Murray makes it when his team, I think, played 3 games without him and went 2-1 in those games. And Kyler's got the same amount of interceptions, but 15 less touchdowns thrown. I have no idea how Matthew Stafford, it's the whole narrative about what he was or his time in Detroit, but it brings like a lack of credibility to the Pro Bowl or its voting.
100%. I agree with you on that, Dio. I 100% agree with you on that because it's supposed to be about the performances this year. I had a question about the wide receiver thing, and is Cooper Kupp the best wide receiver? This year, yes. He's the best wide receiver in the NFL this year. I ain't saying he's the best one in the league in totality. This particular season, he's the best wide receiver. Anyway, let me go to my snub. Jeffrey Simmons. Bro, Jeffrey Simmons has played at a Pro Bowl level since week 1 of the NFL season. He has a 3-sack performance, and DeForest Buckner went over him. And this is one thing I've always known about the Pro Bowl. Names matter. When people start voting, they go with familiarity and they go with names. And Jeffrey Simmons, and Jeffrey Simmons is not a household name yet. He will be at some point. But he has been a dominant defensive tackle. He's been as dominant as any other guy playing D-tackle in football this season. I'm not talking about the last few weeks. I'm not talking about a couple good performances in big games. His nationally televised game, he had 3 sacks and a forced fumble. And it's been that way consistently this season. He's a big snub this year, man.
And you and I have talked about this on the show. I think he's the best player on one of the best defensive lines in football. So, like, the lack of not being in doesn't correlate. I'd also say this, and I'd like your thoughts. Like, Cordero Patterson not making it is a joke. I don't care the position. Find a way. Joe Burrow not making it is a joke.
Well, you're giving them their props now. Fellas, we got a heart out here, though. We got to keep it going. Aaron Rodgers, perhaps more of a bad man than ever this season. Has he done enough to win MVP? Wait until you hear what Brett Favre has to say. Plus, we'll ask our resident Cowboy Marcus Spears who he's more concerned with heading down the stretch. Is it Coach McCarthy or their quarterback, Dak Prescott? Talking Cowboys, Achilles. Finney, get well soon. And I heard Santa Perk's going to be here in studio tomorrow. Okay, Happy holidays, everybody. Plenty of first takes still to come. Our resident cowboy, Mr. Swagoo, forced to answer this question. What's the bigger issue for Dallas right now, Dak's slump or McCarthy's coaching? Plus, Stephen A. has a fluid A-list, but Dan Orlovsky debuts his solid O-list. The top 5 quarterbacks in football right now. And with the CFP just days away, Paul Feinbaum himself joining us to answer the question we're all wondering. Is there any chance Bama gets beat? And guess who's back on First Take in minutes? Vince Sanity, Vince Carter himself, talking the mess that is the Lakers. All that and more in just a bit. But first, Rodgers is 1 TD pass away from taking the record from Brett Favre of most passing TDs by a Green Bay Packer. And Favre isn't mad about it. He concurs that Aaron Rodgers is a bad man. Listen up.
Aaron's going to shatter every record out there if he continues to play because he's better now than he's ever been and shows no signs of slowing down. Certainly makes that team so much better without him, or whether he goes to another team or not, he's going to make whoever he plays with so much better, and just a prolific playmaker, probably the best playmaker I think we've ever seen. Okay.
Well, first of all, when I hear the word playmaker, I think of one guy, and that is Michael Irvin. Hi, Michael. We miss you too, buddy. Yeah, shout out to Irv. I'm going to come to you on this one, Dan. Is Aaron Rodgers the best playmaker ever?
At quarterback, yes. I would totally agree with that. At the quarterback position, absolutely. Now, I've seen it firsthand, unfortunately. Aaron and I were drafted same year together. Obviously, I was drafted in Detroit. Aaron was drafted in Green Bay. I could speak to 2 very specific times in my life that we were playing against Aaron Rodgers, and I thought to myself, dude, he did it again. When it came to just playmaking. 2008, we were playing on the road, last game of the year in Green Bay. Now, 2008 is a historically famous year because that was the year we went 0-16, okay? And I remember last game of the year, we went. I threw a touchdown pass to Calvin Johnson with like 2 minutes to go that I think tied the football game. We kicked off. Aaron Rodgers ran a naked bootleg from the left side all the way to the right and threw an 82-yard touchdown pass to Donald Driver. And I just remember standing on the sidelines like, yo, that just happened? And then like 5 or 6 years later, Thursday Night Football, we took the lead against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers with like 15 seconds left, and that's the Hail Mary that goes in the air for like 15 seconds on the road in Detroit where he scrambles out to the right of the pocket. I've seen those examples in real life that I would agree he's the greatest playmaker ever at quarterback. But Brett Favre, respectfully, Barry Sanders? There's guys at other positions that were just absolutely outrageous when it came to playmaking ability. Barry Sanders was a guy that you and I, big fella, grew up watching, and we didn't even know football at that point. And then watching some of the stuff that Barry Sanders, look at these runs. I mean, this is the historical one where you're like, how does he not? Oh my God, 51. Look like Marcus in some of our debates falling over.
My bad,
so like,
Norton.
I gotta say Barry Sanders is up there. I gotta say guys like Rob Gronkowski. I mean, there's a guy that has the nickname the playmaker. There's a guy that has the nickname primetime. Marshall Faulk. So quarterback, I'll give him, but I ain't giving him all-time playmaker at any position.
Bro, listen. I'm so glad you saved this. Like, I'm glad we don't have to argue this because you said quarterback, and there's an argument, obviously, for Aaron Rodgers, and I would probably have him there. We'll see how Pat Mahomes, the rest of his career goes. People still forget Pat is young. He got an opportunity to enter that conversation. The greatest playmaker in the NFL is between 2 guys. It's between Jim Brown and Jerry Rice. And I choose Jerry Rice because I was a San Francisco 49ers fan growing up, and Jerry Rice went to Mississippi Valley, came from the SWAC. 80 was unstoppable. He did it with multiple quarterbacks. He got records that's still standing today. In a passing league, when offense is completely different, you got opportunities now to see numbers go off the charts.
Right.
Jerry Rice still has records that may never be surpassed in football. Its record standing for the test of time, 208 total touchdowns, over 23,000 yards receiving, over 1,500 receptions in his career. Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP. When we start talking about, and I think sometimes we forget because Jerry played with Joe Montana and he played with Steve Young, and then at 40, he went and was a 1,000-yard receiver with the Raiders. So look, when we start talking about playmakers, right? We got it. I'm so glad, Dan. I'm actually proud. It warms my heart. I got the warm and fuzzies because you usually go just absolutely crazy when a quarterback hugs, bro. Hugs. When a quarterback ends the conversation, you lose all capacity to think about any other position in football. But this particular time on this day, and I guess because we close to Christmas, you decided to actually play by the rules. And the rule says that Jerry Rice is the best playmaker in the NFL. I know people will argue. You got Walter Payton. To your point, Dan, you got Barry, who the argument has always been Barry did it behind a bad offensive line. Jim Brown, bro. Jim Brown was elite. I know errors and all of that matters. Jerry Rice, to me, is the greatest playmaker to ever play in the NFL because he still got records that's standing, and we've so grown into a passing league since he left. Think about the guys, y'all. Think about Randy Moss and Terrell Owens. Think about Isaac Bruce. Think about Marvin Harrison. Think about all of the greatest wide receivers and the wide receivers that we say are great and had way more Calvin Johnson, way more talent physically and ability from just God-given than Jerry Rice had. And Jerry Rice said, fellas, it ain't even close. You're not even going to come close. And all the dudes I just named, coincidentally, Dio, they all got gold jackets. And Jerry Rice still stands among those guys. He the best playmaker to me to ever play in the NFL up until this point.
Yeah, you just filled everybody up with a lot of information about those names, like you fill yourself up with them pancakes and encased meat sausages before NFL Live.
I'm going to do it right after we get done with the show.
I thought we were just
doing right after we get to the show.
No, Molly, because this is what happened. He tried to build me up. Like, he tried to compliment me. He was like, oh, good job. And then he tried to cut me down. And then he tried to cut me down.
He was scared to answer the question, Molly. He didn't want to answer the question. The question wasn't who was the greatest quarterback playmaker ever.
Everybody's got a beverage. I have a beverage, too. I just have to say one thing. The air hug you guys did was very cute, but that's actually how we hug, even if people are in person now, because it's sad times. Let's keep going. Still ahead on First Take. Which quarterback has the edge when it comes to the Bills versus the Pats? Why Josh Allen versus Mac Jones is closer than you think. And speaking of quarterbacks, Dan has his A-list. Dan's top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. Let's go.
I'm giving it to the Bills, Molly Q, and I think it's going to be behind Josh Allen and the way this team was embarrassed the first meeting that they had against the New England Patriots with Mac Jones only having to throw 3 passes. I think they step up. Stephon Diggs have a day. Him and J.C. Jackson is going to be a battle. But this team has to get this win. They're under more pressure to get it, and I give them the edge because of that.
Dan, Jalen Hurts threw a touchdown and ran for 2 more in the win versus Washington. Now the Eagles have a chance to make the playoffs. Has Hurts proven he's the Eagles quarterback of the future? Yeah, certainly for at least next year. I think he's earned that opportunity, Molly. I've been on this for a couple weeks now. I think Jalen Hurts' game against the Washington football team from Tuesday night was his best game as a professional, and he's constantly answered the #1 question asked for him. Are you going to progress as a pocket passer? I say yes. The Cardinals, at one time, the team with the best record in the NFL, has lost 2 straight and take on the Colts this Saturday. Marcus, are the Cards contenders or pretenders?
Pretenders. They have a tough time stopping the run, and if you look at the teams in the NFC, they have a great ability to do that. And then, too, like watching this team lose to the Detroit Lions and looking at the demeanor on the sideline really bothered me. So I got them as pretenders and front runners.
Fair enough. The Cowboys got the win this week, an inch closer to a playoff berth and clinching the NFC East, but they wouldn't be the Cowboys without a little drama, fellows. That would include Dak Prescott's low numbers since his return from that calf injury and Mark McCarthy's questionable time management. The most recent was McCarthy hesitating to call a timeout with his team in the red zone and the clock winding down in the first half of their game versus the Giants, leading to a field goal instead of a touchdown. Here's the coach on that situation.
We were right on the threshold of the ozone. You know, what we call, we have terms for all those situations. So instead of going, one more play and then kick it, I wanted the 3 points here. So that was, we call that an ozone situation.
Marcus, sorry about that, guys. We were dealing with a little technical difficulties with
good, Miles. You good? Handling it like a
with
pro.
With the mic, all that stuff, but we got it together. Paulie D on the audio, and we're goody. All right, Marcus, I'll start with you. Are you more concerned with McCarthy or Dak? Okay, I didn't get to see Marcus. Marcus has lots of concerns. He's very stressed.
I'm so tired of Mike McCarthy in this situation, y'all. Like, I hate the fact that I got to come on this show as the resident Dallas Cowboy guy and answer questions about who's more important or who is more of a liability or more in question. It's Mike McCarthy. Okay? I know Dak Prescott can play at a high level. Dak Prescott has played at a high level. He has more of a sample size of playing at a high level than Mike McCarthy has in the couple recent years of coaching. So, yes, the liability will be Mike McCarthy. We talking about clock management, y'all. Clock management is paramount in the playoffs. Clock management is paramount when you're playing against other quarterbacks who knows how to manage the clock them damn selves, even though Tom Brady tried to call timeout after 4th down. But that's just a blip in the radar. We look at Aaron Rodgers last year with Matt LaFleur on a 4th down situation and not going for it. That's bad management. When you got Aaron Rodgers, you go for it. You're trying to win the NFC Championship. Mike McCarthy, to me, okay, and early in the year we had clock management issues, and I said, you know what, everybody settle down, still working kinks out. The Giants game and that clock management situation was inexcusable. That is peewee football level thinking. Like, I know my peewee coach, Coach Shue, Maylene Brooks, the South Baton Rouge Rams, would have took a timeout in that situation to get one shot at the end zone. My high school coach, Eric Randall, would have took a timeout to get one more shot at the end zone. Mike McCarthy is out of his mind for trying to go up there in a damn press conference and sell to us the yellow zone and ozone. I'm watching Yellowstone. It's a great show. But you know what? It's not real. It's not true. Mike McCarthy, this is real life. We trying to win football games. We trying to win playoff games. Stop doing the things that you're doing with the clock situation and allow your team to be set up. And then, Dan, I'm going to pass the mic, but you know I'm emotional about this. You got a struggling offense that has not put up a lot of points in recent weeks, and you say we want to settle for the 3. Bruh, listen, y'all, last year I had to be stressed because injuries, and nobody wanted to acknowledge that the injuries was why my team looked so bad. And now we finally are playing well. Look, I know it's been negative connotations around the Cowboys. They 10-4. They #1 in their division, and they go into the playoffs. That's a great season. The bottom line is this, man. Mike McCarthy, don't do it. I'm praying you don't do it. Don't cost the team a football game because you make a bad decision or a scary decision or you start thinking about the damn yellow zone or the ozone. Bro, they literally have private space travel now. Mike McCarthy better figure out how to call the damn timeout and try to score a touchdown. It ain't that hard. Go ahead, go ahead, bro.
He said private space travel. He want to get his Michael Strahan on. Hold on, Molly. I got to share a story on Yellowstone with Marcus real quick. Put Molly on with us, because I want Molly. I want to see her face.
I'm still stuck on the private space travel.
Right. Yeah. So Molly. Yeah. So he mentions he's watching Yellowstone, right? So I'll be in the green room here upstairs a couple times. This is like I'm gonna put you on blast here, but so I walk in and he's watching Yellowstone. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? He's like, I'm watching Yellowstone. I'm like, yo, how do you have the time to watch a television show? Like, all I do is watch
football season. Yeah, no, I get it.
And he goes, Dan, you got to date yourself. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, yo, I'll get to the hotel after work.
No.
I'll order myself a filet. No. I get the candles going. I watch Yellowstone. He goes, I date myself.
I like that. I like that. You know what? That is very cute.
A lot of people claim they love themselves.
That's a very cute line, Marcus. And I'll tell you this, I've been doing a lot more self-care lately. I'm with you. The candles, take the bath, get the roll. It's winter time.
A lot of people.
I guess, you know what? I am dating myself, so I'm going to start using that when people ask. I'm just dating myself, and I'm cool with it.
A lot of people in public, they like to come on and they talk about self-care and yes, I take care of myself. No, I truly do. I pamper myself. I have a beautiful wife, Aisha Spears, okay? I'm away from her during the week. I'm going to date myself, okay? I light a candle. Dan knows. I order me a steak. And I watch Monday Night Football. And it's the greatest time I have outside of being away from my family.
As you should. And Merry Christmas, Aisha, and the whole Spears family.
So my answer, I had to get that story. It's the best. So my answer.
That's hilarious. That's so good.
You got to be more concerned with Dak Prescott. I get it, Marcus. You're saying like clock management matters a lot in the playoffs. So does having your quarterback play good football. And I would say that the latter is more indicative of you winning a football game. I honestly don't think that if Dak Prescott plays really good football, that the Cowboys are going to lose a playoff game because Mike McCarthy doesn't pop a timeout at the right time. Now, if Dak Prescott is struggling and this offense is struggling, yeah, then we're having, because there's multiple variables adding to a poor performance. I'm concerned with Dak Prescott in regards to two things, because everyone is saying, well, he's played poorly since the calf injury. If it hasn't gotten better since the calf injury or since the 2 months, I don't think it's going to get better in the next 3 weeks.
It's a great point.
So, like, I think he's going to have to prove to everybody that he can play good football post-calf injury if that's why they're saying he's struggling. I think he's struggled for a multitude of reasons. One, I'm concerned with him in regards to his performance without Tyron Smith. In his last 2 games without Tyron Smith at left tackle, 1 touchdown, 4 picks. He's taken 8 sacks. So they got to make sure that Tyron Smith is healthy for their playoff run. And also, I think he's dealing with a little bit of the Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen syndrome, where defenses are playing their 2 high safeties, and Dak has remained ultra aggressive with the football, 2 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, and he's playing against those 2 high safeties. So, like, I think there's got to be a bigger concern with, for them to win a playoff game, he's going to have to look like Dak Prescott the first 6 weeks of the season. And in the last 7 weeks, we just haven't seen that.
Yeah, listen, man, there is no argument from me about what we've seen from Dak. I think like I told you when we were talking earlier about San Fran offense and Dallas offense, I believe that they will get it going. My issue is Mike McCarthy, man. Because when we start, like, dude, we talked the whole offseason about Matt LaFleur not going for it on 4th down in the NFC Championship. If that rears its head and some situation takes place where Dallas loses a game by a field goal or something because they didn't handle a red zone situation the right way or give themselves an opportunity to get points, to get in the end zone, or Mike McCarthy has this pause about Dak Prescott and what will happen if we run the next play. Dude, you know playoff football. It's YOLO, bro. Right. It's YOLO. You trying to put as many points on the board as you can. Sometimes you have to step outside of who you are to try to create something to win games in the playoffs. And Mike McCarthy playing it safe and to the cuff concerns me more than me thinking Dak down the road is going to continue to look like this.
Okay, there's 2 things I need to do right now. I need to show you a tweet, but I need to ask Marcus another question. Marcus, did you come up with that line to date yourself, or did you hear that from Oprah or something?
No, that's me. That's all me, Molly. Somebody might have said it. I mean, I'm only 38 years old, but I date myself.
I am so impressed. All right, look at this tweet. I asked you guys earlier, who's the greatest playmaker ever? And obviously, Dan showed Barry Sanders, as he should, some love. And Barry's feeling the love today, Dan, but you can't have this discussion without showing John Elway love as well. Dan, your response?
I agree. That's a great shout out to Barry.
That's tough.
You see my handle, Dan Orlovsky 7. It's 7 because that was the number that I wore as a kid growing up. I wore number 7 for John Elway. So, like, that's a great call by Barry. Yeah. So, shout out to Barry for the tweet. Absolute legend. But he's right. Elway's got to be into that conversation as well.
Yeah. And I want to give a quick shout out to Marcus Spears for pinch hitting today. Marcus, holding it down as you do every day here on ESPN, 80 shows a day. We so
Always.
appreciate you. Always
My
appreciate
people.
you. I don't
Much
know if I'll
love,
talk.
family.
I don't
Much
think
love.
I'll talk to you before then. So Merry Christmas to you and your whole family, and we'll check you out on NFL Live. You
Merry
guys are
Christmas.
earlier
Same back,
today,
back at you.
2
Back
p.m.
at
Eastern
you,
on
Molly
ESPN.
Q.
Best Christmas movies? Home
No,
Alone?
Molly, not you, not you.
Oh.
Not you. We're gonna get to yours.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, you get it. Marcus, what's your 3 favorite before he goes, Molly?
Okay, I like it.
All right, this Christmas, that's one of them.
Okay.
Bro, I know it's not considered a Christmas movie. Coming to America, I watch every Christmas. And then last but not least, Home Alone. Home Alone is just
Okay.
Home Alone
Right?
every year.
I
Every
just
year.
watched Home Alone 2 with my nephews. Yeah, Home Alone's my number one, but I'll wait. I'm not being asked. Marcus, we'll talk to you later. Merry Christmas. You got some pipes.
All
you
right,
got some
family.
pipes.
Take care.
Bye. It's less fluid, Stephen A., and it's more solid because it's Dan Orlovsky. The man doesn't waver when it comes to naming his top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. No one breaks down quarterbacks like Dan. Can't wait. Now, Brooklyn's still scheduled to take part in the NBA's Christmas Day slate, taking on the Lakers, along with these other games you see pictured here. Fingers crossed that will all happen. And here to break it all down, the future Hall of Famer, Vince Carter. Vince, let's jump right into it. We need to get to the good stuff. Vince, you signing a 10-day contract or what? What's happening? Come on.
Oh, you know.
Come on, we had a lot of throwbacks out there.
I need some time.
Okay.
I need some time to get in shape.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. How concerned should the NBA be about these marquee matchups missing some of the superstars?
I mean, of course, it's for sure a concern just because I mean they're a huge matchup with superstars that are on this lineup. So you know, will people watch? I don't know. I mean, it's great to hear that James Harden is now cleared, and there's going to be some great games. And you know, you're hoping guys like the early game that I'm actually calling. You want Trae Young in the lineup because of what we saw last year in the playoffs, and you want these guys as you go throughout your Christmas holiday. You want to see the best games with the superstars going at it on such a festive day.
Of course. What impact do you think Harden can have on Saturday?
We hope some impact. I mean, he's going to be the go-to guy, and we're hoping to see the James Harden that we're used to seeing in the Houston uniform, just dominating and leading his team in all categories, not just shooting the ball, but rebounding, assisting, because he's going to play an important role of the success of the Nets in this matchup.
All right, let's talk about the Lakers, Vince. LeBron doing what he can to keep them afloat. So many injuries, right? The oldest roster in the NBA. Yeah. And now we saw Anthony Davis down with that MCL. How much trouble are the Lakers in?
I mean, it's definitely a concern. Yes, they're in trouble right now because Anthony Davis should be and has the potential to be one of the top 5 players in the league. He's been up and down, obviously dealing with injuries and everything else that has happened around their team. It's gonna ask for LeBron to do a lot more, and yes, he can handle it, but you want LeBron fresh for the playoffs. You know, you want and for your playoff run late in the season. We're still in the beginning of the season here at 32 games, and he's exerting a lot of energy, and that's why they put superstars like AD and Westbrook as well as Melo. Yeah, and Melo, just to give him some not I don't want to say time off, but give him some other stars and some other scores where sometimes he could play off of the ball and not have to carry the load. So this is a big concern.
Yeah, all hands on deck. Suns-Warriors, another star-studded matchup, right? 2 of the best records in the NBA. Who do you think has the edge in this one?
Well, I want to say this first. I hope Andrew Wiggins can get cleared and they have him back as well, because this is going to be fun, and it's great to see, obviously, having Steph and having Booker and CP3 and all that. Right now, this can go either way. I mean, they're playing at the Sun in Phoenix, so you have to give them the edge. But I tell you what, man, Steph is the leading candidate, in my opinion, for MVP. He is playing lights out. You know, you thought, or you kind of figured they would be good, but not this good. So I'm looking forward to watching this, and we're hoping everybody is healthy and clear, because right now, because of all of the other superstars out, this is the must-see game right now.
Absolutely. Of course, health and safety is paramount, but I got to do this. I know it's not even Christmas Day yet. Who do you have winning the West? And then who do you have winning the East right now?
Oh my goodness, that's not fair.
No, it's fair.
In the West, that's not fair because I mean because of that. I mean, it's easy to say if everybody was healthy, and I'll say this: the two teams that are playing the best basketball in the league, we just talked about them: the Suns and the Golden State Warriors. So that can go either way. Obviously, if you bring Klay Thompson back, that gives and of course the young fella. I'm gonna say Golden State right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Golden State because you think of where they are right now, playing the basketball they're playing, and they don't even have Klay back. You add him back, and you give him time to get himself back into game shape, into Klay Thompson shape. What we expected him to see, they can make a run at this. On the East, I mean, I think Chicago's playing the best basketball. DeRozan has been fantastic. So I don't know if they end up coming out of the West. I mean, out of the East right now. You still give Brooklyn a chance. Now adding Kyrie back, Milwaukee, you always can say they're going to. Nobody's talking about them, but you can always say Milwaukee's going to be there. So I throw all that out to say I still give it to Brooklyn right now.
Okay, I like it. Vince Carter, appreciate you. Merry Christmas. Stay safe.
Merry Christmas to you.
Okay. Oh, the college football playoff is oh so close. Paul Feinbaum joins us next.